Welcome to this webinar. I would like to share my screen and I hope you can all see. So this webinar has been organized by Career Bridge in collaboration with Dean Consulting. And we're going to take you through discussions on strategies for career growth and development. The focus or the target audience for this webinar is professionals in the finance sector, and especially also those who might be interested in expanding their careers to in the investment sector. So I will welcome Nina to introduce herself. And then I will also introduce myself. And then after that, we'll go to the content of this session. So welcome, Nina.
Thanks, Marilyn. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm in the dark, but we will still manage somehow. My name is Nina Olo. I'm the founder of Nina Gina Consulting. We are a finance and investment consulting firm. We focus on training professionals in the investments market. We also train on financial management, both personal for individuals and also for businesses. And we do consulting mainly for pension schemes to help them with their strategic plans and anything related to financial coaching also. So welcome to this webinar, and we trust that you're going to learn something. If you're interested in this sector, you should be able to have a better understanding if it's a career that you're interested in. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. And myself, my name is Marilyn Kisu. I'm a career coach and HR consultant, and I'm the founder of Career Bridge. So Career Bridge is a talent management company, and we focus on these two main services: career coaching and mentorship, and human resource management consultancy. When it comes to career coaching, we aim to hold people at every stage of their career journey, starting from career choices in high school, college, when you are planning your transition to work. We also support working professionals, and that's why today we have this webinar in partnership with Nina Gina Consulting, so that we can keep supporting working professionals, also fresh graduates in their journey as finance professionals. And so we hold your hand all the way to the retirement planning. For working professionals, we do offer job search support services, CV review, LinkedIn application. We do career development and also career transition coaching programs. So with this, I will not take too much time. We will go to the main agenda of today's webinar. How this webinar is structured, we'll start with an introduction from Career Bridge, where we're going to talk about taking charge of your career growth and development. And then we'll invite Nina, who is the expert in finance and investment careers, so that she can take you through an overview of the investment sector in Kenya and how the steps you can take to grow your career, specifically in finance and investment. So just starting off the introduction part, the key is we would like to have a conversation around taking charge of your career growth and development. And so the main thing when we talk about taking charge of your career growth and development is these three key questions. One is, are you leaving your career to chance? And then two, what vision do you have for your career? And three, with that vision, what are those dedicated actions that you can take to achieve your goal or vision? And we say that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is now. Meaning that if you did not yet craft a vision for your career, this is the chance we have to have conversations and to reflect. If you do not already have dedicated actions that you can take to invest in your career development and growth, we can start those conversations now and take actions, yeah? But before we dive deeper into the conversations of the day, we like to put up a poll and just check who is the audience in the room. Because we might be talking to maybe senior professionals, maybe you are a mid professional or just starting up your career. So that as we have these conversations, we will be able to also tailor examples to our audience. So we just put up a small Zoom poll. Nina, maybe you can put the poll. Thank you. In this poll, we would like you to just take a moment to reflect and look at this, that considering your experience, skills, responsibilities, what describes your current career stage? Because that also defines the kind of strategies and actions that you would actually take to grow your career. So please, let's participate in the poll. I hope it's active and everyone can see. Okay, thank you. I can see some results coming in already.
Sorry, my apologies. Just allow me to start it again.
Oh, it was showing results very well.
Just there's a small,
Okay, sorry. Okay, it's fine. Should I stop sharing my screen or it's okay?
Okay, now you can go.
Okay. And Nina, is it okay that I'm still sharing the screen? People can
Yeah.
see both? Okay, thank you.
There are two questions. There's a second question if you scroll down.
Yes, there's a second question in how many years you have worked in the finance sector. Esther, did the second question have choices also?
That's what it had, and then it's, yes, they're answering.
Okay, that's fine. So the response is at 40%. So if a few more people could respond so that we see what's the average level of experience. So Esther, I can see we are at 55% response rate. Should we give maybe 2 more minutes?
Yes.
Okay, and then we can work with what we have. Okay, so maybe we can end the poll because at least we are at 60%. That gives us an idea of who we have in the audience. So Esther, are you able to end the poll so we can share results? Okay, so I can see that we have at least 59% of us who are fresh graduates, which is a majority, and also a majority 18% are senior professionals. So, but a big number is fresh graduates, which means it's really good. It's really the right time to think about strategies for growing your career. And then I can see there is someone who seems maybe to be using a whiteboard. Please, if you could stop. Nina, I'm not sure if you can see from your end because it's distracting the presentation. So thank you so much. This gives us a good picture of where you are in your career. because depending on the stage at which you are in your career, you might want to use different strategies for career growth. And we hope that in this webinar, we'll be able to speak to all levels. So we can end the poll, and going forward with the presentation, I would like to invite you to just take a look at this image. This image is a presentation of a growing plant, a seedling. And so it goes to the analogy of a farmer and the work that they put in to be able to grow and gain a bumper harvest. So I would like to invite you to look at this image, and looking at it, what stage in your career do you think you are? Would you see yourself as being maybe at the seeding level? Are you sprouting? Are you growing, or are you blooming? And at all these stages, you require different actions to be able to grow and develop yourself. So while, again, I would like to say these stages are not linear. They are not linear because sometimes you might grow up to the blooming stage and maybe even change careers or find new interests, and you realize you have to start growing again and planting some seedlings for you to achieve your fullest potential. So we don't look at it as linear, but rather as a cycle that we can go through our career, that sometimes we are planting seeds, sometimes we are just sprouting, and sometimes we are facing challenges just the same way a farmer will face challenges when there's a storm, when there's floods, and you just tilled and prepared your land. And when there's those weeds that come, what do you do to be able to continue steadfastly growing and pushing forward? So the key questions at each stage you want to ask yourself. I would like to see some charts, even if you write there and your thoughts. Do you think you are at seedling stage? It's okay. You can just put in chat and interact. So if you think you are at a seedling stage, you want to ask yourself these questions. What are the seeds of potential within my career? And seeds of potential usually are like the skills that you have, the interest that you have, the knowledge that you have, your strengths are your seeds of potential that you can tap in. And then you also want to ask yourself, maybe what are the seeds of potential outside? What are the opportunities you really want to tap in and use to grow yourself? And then as you progress and you are sprouting, I'll see you looking at how you can continue to provide the necessary resources and support to further your development. Why? Because even the same way a farmer tills the land when the seeds are sprouting to start removing weeds, is the same way you need to put in more resources. Maybe it means more investment in your learning, maybe getting a mentor, maybe taking up even challenging projects that push you towards the growth stage, because growth will not come while sleeping. There has to be work that is put in to achieve that growth. Then as you look at the, sorry, I think I got the, then as you grow at the growth stage, you want to look at the strengths that you can leverage to propel you to the next level. And that's the level that pushes you to a blooming stage. And I've seen people who have gotten really good opportunities, but maybe again stagnated when they reached a growth stage. And then after so many years is when they started thinking, by the way, I've been in this job for 10 years. I think I'm not gaining anything. It's because when they reach the growth stage, they did not look at what strengths or what knowledge they have acquired that can actually propel them to the next stage. And then once you bloom, you want to look for opportunities for expansion, for growth and expansion. So you can think at your career in that sense and maybe take some notes, reflect at what stage are you in, and then look at what strategies you can use based on the stage you are in to grow yourself. So in this sense, then we do distinguish career growth and development in this sense, that career development is actually a lifelong process. We have to commit to continuous development and continuous practicing of our skills, just like an athlete. There's no way you win that coveted medal without putting in the hours. There's this 10,000 hour rule, it goes into the development. But also as you develop, you have to be thinking about growth. And growth is the bigger picture or the vision that you have for your career. So I would like just to pause here and ask all of you to reflect and ask yourself, what is the bigger vision you have of your career? You know, this famous question that we are asked in interviews, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And sometimes you really try to coin a genius answer. I think it's better to be asking ourselves this question, because maybe even employers are no longer asking it. Why? Because there's a shift in employers holding employees more accountable for their own growth and development. There's no longer promises of what's the next level. It's just how much you put in and how you maneuver the job market that you can grow. So you want to ask yourself, what vision do you have of your career? If you are a fresh graduate, I would ask you to just check, what vision do you have of your career? You can think of a short-term vision. Where could you possibly start off your career? Mid-term, it could be 5 years from now. So short-term is 2 years, 1 year vision. Mid-term is maybe 5 years from now, and then long-term, maybe 10 years down the line. Where do you see yourself? And then the development part comes in, are all the actions and the journey that you're gonna commit to so that you can achieve both the short-term, mid-term, and long-term vision. So please just take a note and write down what would be your short-term vision, mid-term, and long-term vision, and try to craft some points in between of what you could do to achieve that. So another key element that will enable your career progression is to understand the labor market. What is happening in the labor market, especially when it comes to the finance careers? And usually there's good sources of information. For example, the World Economic Forum, it publishes every 3 years a report on the future of jobs. And this I'm picking from the Future of Jobs Survey 2023, is an authentic source. And it's listing some of the declining careers. And you can see accounting and bookkeeping and payroll. Those roles are declining a bit. And why? Is because of automation. There's ERP systems that can process financial data. And so there will be, it doesn't mean that these jobs are not needed, but there's gonna be fewer positions. Some finance professionals have been even employed as starting jobs as bank tellers and clerks, or so, as a starting point, I mean. But maybe those jobs are shrinking because banks have also automated, and many other areas. So it means if you would like to grow in your career, you want to see then what are the emerging trends in the sector. And there is more need for financial management advisors, fintech professionals, people who can contribute to product development in the fintech sector, combining their finance knowledge. Then maybe you can diversify some skills, risk management, compliance. In the fintech, there's blockchain and cryptocurrency. There's looking for regulatory advices and consulting with complex tax laws and new financial paradigms, investment and venture capital. I think Nina will talk more about this, but for me, it's just to show you that it's important to be aware of the trends in your sector, and trends not only in technical skills, also in soft skills. Are people needing professions who are more tech savvy, data analysts, how are your skills? Can you analyze data, make projections for an organization to make sound business decisions, is really what organizations are looking more for. So with this, having understood the labor market, is also good to understand that the traditional career ladders are really fading away. And now it's more about self-invention. And how can you self-invent if you're not aware of what is happening in the labor market? There's need to self-invent. And this is a report that was published by Deloitte in 2017. And they were talking about 21st century careers. If you search in the Deloitte site, you will find this full report. You can read it. It's talking about catching the wave. So maybe you may want to just pause and reflect. What does catching the wave mean for you right now? What is that wave that you need to catch and ride on until you achieve your goals? And then, you know, waves usually will subside at the end. So when that wave is gone, what's your next catch? And that means reskilling, looking at both your reskilling. And when you are reskilling, you are looking at both your soft skills, technical skills, and self-development. And by reskilling, I don't mean just reskilling by going to school only, is also applying knowledge, trying on new projects, even if it means sometimes as a fresh graduate, just volunteering to build a practical skills. Be patient so that you can achieve that goal. Then the other trend is there's a shift from single track careers to portfolio careers. People are diversifying. Someone can combine finance and tech, you know. Someone can combine maybe being a technical expert in finance and also a trainer in the field. So you might want to see what is the portfolio of interest that you have that can help you maybe to diversify if at all you are not getting leads, so that you are not one-sided. Though I must admit that building a portfolio like career takes more work, more energy, more time. You have to be very organized and dedicated to be able to build a successful portfolio career, because it means you are doing multiple things. This image is a bit very intertwined. It has too much, but it's very interesting that I got it from a paper by Harvard Business Review, and they had a very good article on how one can map out their portfolio, their varied skills, and use them in various avenues to build a portfolio career. And nowadays, it's very possible with the gig economy where you can work for jobs abroad. So you could do one job, you do maybe finance, typical finance and accounting, and in one job, maybe you are advising a startup on financial advisory, management, and investment. And you could do it maybe even sometimes to volunteer. So you build a skill, all as a real job. So there's room to diversify and not look at your career in a very linear perspective. So then, besides looking outwards, what is happening, another key pillar of career development and growth is self-assessment. To know your personality, your talents, so you bring them more often to work, that you use your talents, you bring your best personality to work. To know your interests and passion, because it shows when you are passionate, you do work differently. Your abilities, your skills, and even your values and work preferences, so that if maybe a work environment does not grow you, does not develop you, then you may want to start thinking of strategies for growth where you can find something that helps you to grow. And finally, as we look at growth and development, I would just like to emphasize that usually when we thinking of growth, we look at the linear one, just getting the next big job. Sometimes you could be growing within your role. So when you talk about career growth and development, you can look at, given the job that I have now, and it's just because it's a short webinar, but these are things I want you to go and explore, questions I want you to try write down and ask yourself, given the job I'm doing now, what could I possibly do to grow and develop while in this role, regardless of the circumstances, because it is what you have. And then with that growth in your current role, it could lead you to vertical growth where you can find higher positions. But also another way to grow is to take a lateral move. Maybe you feel you're not growing in your current role, you've explored and there's no opportunities at all. You could apply jobs that are higher and also jobs at the same level. so that you just make a lateral move into a different position, same grade, but maybe different organization, and you have an opportunity to grow from there. So the key is not to be linear or fixed, but to try different strategies. So just a list of things you could do to grow and to develop. And why do I distinguish the two? Why? Because in my coaching practice, I coach a lot of working professionals. I've met many people who have done a lot of development. They have done many courses, 2 master's degree, PhD, and then they are stagnated. They are not growing. Why? Because they were developing without looking at the growth strategy. Why am I developing myself so that I can go where? So I would like to encourage that as you think of developing yourself, also think of growth, meaning what are your career goals and what action plans will you take to get there? Where can you start? And as you start, where can you get the opportunities for other growth, for more growth? Those are the things that I would like to encourage you to do so that you plan for both your development and growth concurrently. And above all is to improve your job search strategies, to do your good applications, write good CV, prepare your LinkedIn profile. When we are doing another coaching session, we can go into the details of writing a good CV. For now, in the interest of time, we won't go into that, but it's very important. It's your main document that sells you. The other thing is to do your personal branding and your professional identity, very important. And last but not least, also to coach and prepare and hone your interview skills so that when opportunities arise, you are able to seize them. So that's a very brief summary. I hope I didn't go too fast. I was trying to wrap up so I can give time to Nina. And now over to you, Nina. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was such a great introduction. And I'm so excited about seeing so many people interested in, doing something about their careers and being able to make the right choices. So for me, I'm going to focus on the finance and investment side. And maybe my first question is, when you are thinking of a career in finance and investment, what job are you talking about? Do we understand which jobs are there? Maybe you can write in the chat what careers you're thinking of in this sector, or maybe let's make it more interesting. Which companies are in this sector? If you could just write in the chat as I start. When we talk about careers in finance, it's very wide, because am I talking about accounts? Am I talking about corporate finance? There's so many areas. Am I talking about banking? But for me, today, I am only going to focus on the securities market. Yeah, and when we talk about the securities market, we are talking about companies that are involved in investments. When people invest in shares, in bonds, in all these different assets that are in the market. So I'll give an overview of the securities market in Kenya. Maybe you wonder, why is it called securities market, capitals market? Securities market because securities are the different asset classes that people invest in, whether you're talking about bonds, shares, in the funds. So it's that sector. Capital markets also is a synonym name also that refers to this area. Capital markets, you're talking about also investments. So in Kenya, what is this market really about? We have a regulator. A regulator is Capital Markets Authority. So any company that wants to be in this sector has to be licensed by the CMA. So if a company wants to offer investment banking, if a company wants to be a stock brokerage, they need a license from CMA. So they are the regulator. They're the ones who make sure that you don't have other companies offering Kenyans products which are not legitimate. So it's good to always deal with a licensed company. Within the sector, of course, we have the stock market and we have the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So that's where you're going to have the companies that are listed, the companies that offer their shares to the public. And if you're interested in investing, you buy shares through the NSE. We also have the Nairobi Derivatives Exchange. We have many fresh graduates in finance. If you ever did derivatives, we actually have a derivatives exchange which trades on futures contracts. And so again, that's another area because you still need brokers and it still needs to operate. Another organization that's in the sector is known as the CDSC, Central Depository and Settlement Corporation. So when you're buying shares, if any of you have ever bought shares or invested in shares, you have to have a CDS account, for example, and CDSC manages the settlement and transactions of all the shares transactions. And so they are an important aspect of this market. And then we have the market intermediaries, which I will go through one by one. The market intermediaries are the companies that are now licensed by CMA, and depending on the license they get from CMA, they offer different services. We have, I think the most common that we know, I'm sure all of us know about investment banks. Investment banks are non-deposit taking institutions. They are involved in advisory to companies who want to raise money to grow their businesses. They are involved in takeovers, mergers, acquisitions. They can also act as a stockbroker. They can also act as a dealer. They can also act as a fund manager. And so their license is quite wide. It gives them different aspects of it. We have about, I think, 20 investment banks in Kenya. Then we have fund managers. I think when Marilyn was showing the careers, the areas that are growing, this is one area that is really growing: fund management, wealth management. These are institutions that manage clients' investment portfolios. And when you're talking about clients, you're talking about institutions. A pension scheme can be a client of a fund manager because the pension scheme needs to manage its investments, the contributions they get. Or they also manage investment portfolios for individuals, high net worth individuals who are looking for ways to invest, so they leave it to a professional to help them. We also have another license, stockbrokers. Stockbrokers really transact on behalf of their clients. So if you want to buy shares, you have to go through a stockbroker. That stockbroker is the one who will buy and sell the shares on your behalf, and they get a commission. We also have, let me look at my screen, authorized securities dealers. These are banks. There are only three, I think, in the market. They specialize in the bonds market. We always hear about government bonds. And at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, one of the market segments is the government bonds that are listed, the bonds that are listed. And so these are the dealers who specialize in that segment. We have authorized depositories. These are banks. They have to be a bank first. They're not also known as custodians. So when the fund managers are managing huge investment portfolios, the law says that they can't keep those assets themselves. The assets must be held in custody with a bank. That's a custodian. So the custodian basically is safekeeping the assets of the clients of the fund manager. So that's another area. We have many people interested in working in the custodian departments of banks because they deal with investments. We also have investment advisors. So you can get a license, a company can get a license to be an investment advisor, and they do the same thing as fund managers. The only difference is that their portfolio for the investment advisor is much smaller, up to 10 million. And if it exceeds that, then they have to seek a fund manager's license. We also have new licenses that are coming up. They don't have them on the screen. You've all been seeing online forex brokers, these companies that have platforms where you can sign up and open an account and be able to trade on different investment assets through the platform. So CMA nowadays also licenses online forex brokers. These ones have a platform and you become a client, and anytime you trade, that is how they make their money through the commission. You've seen Pepperstone, Scope, HFM. There are quite a number in the market right now. Then we also have another license known as Online Forex dealer, or better known as a money manager. These are two. I'm sure you've heard of Standard Investment Bank. So these ones, yes, they can deal with their clients, but they can manage their portfolios. Brokers do not manage their clients' portfolios. They just give the platform of how to do it. And who else have I not talked about? We also have rate managers. Rate managers, we also have investment funds. Like I'm sure REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trusts. So these are investment funds where investors put their money into
I think Nina is frozen, or is it me? Sorry.
For students to stay in the hostel. It's all managed by a rate manager. My lights have gone off again. But yeah, so those are the main ones that are licensed by CMA. Of course, you're wondering, you have the credit rating agencies. Credit rating agencies are also part of the securities market, because companies that issue bonds are supposed to have a credit rating before they issue their bond. So with all these licenses, these are places where you would wish to work, but what areas are you going to work in this sector? There's the front office. Front office is really dealing for any of these companies that I've talked about. You're going to be dealing with clients. So whether you're working for the fund manager, you have to deal with your clients in terms of managing their portfolios. Whether you're investment banking, you're dealing with the companies that want to do an IPO, that a company that wants to take over another one. So there are different roles in the front office, meaning those professionals who directly deal with the clients of all these companies I have talked about. So there's wealth management, there's financial planning, there is investment banking, like I explained, there's trading. You can be a trader. You work for an investment bank, but you're focused on the trading side. So you're the ones who actually executes the trades for the clients of the investment bank, or even for the stockbroker, or even for the fund manager. Then you have, repeated financial planning. We have investment advisors who also have clients who manage to manage their investment portfolios. You have investment management, really going through the whole process of signing up clients, investing on their behalf, giving them advisory on how they can get higher returns. We are talking about huge clients, institutional clients, companies, pension schemes, all these funds. Portfolio management, specifically to different portfolios. So you can be a portfolio manager. The names are almost similar. Sometimes you hear about asset management. I'm sure most of you have heard of the funds that we have, the CIC money market fund, or these other money market funds, equity funds. Those funds are managed by professionals, because investors put in money into the fund, but the funds are invested by a professional. So that professional is an asset manager or an investment manager or a portfolio manager. And we have also stockbrokers who really just do transaction. They don't really do a lot of advisory. They just carry out your transaction. They deal with clients who really know what they want to do. I want to buy shares, so let me go to the stockbroker so that they can buy the shares on my behalf. Then you also have careers in the middle office. All these firms have to have some professional who's good at risk management, because investments is a risk business, right? So risk management from the point of view of the firm itself, risk management because it's also a requirement by the regulator, that you manage, that you have a risk professional who manages the risks of the firm. Many years ago, you used to hear about stockbrokers going out of business because they didn't manage their businesses well. So risk management is a very important aspect of the securities market. Then we have compliance. With a regulator, you have many laws and regulations that these companies have to follow. It's the law. And so every firm that is licensed by CMA will have to have a compliance officer to ensure, their role is to ensure that that company follows the regulations and that they don't get into trouble. So that's also another whole sector within the securities market. And of course, with any business, you still need you need some legal aspects there, these agreements, anything related to legal for that company that is licensed by CMA. Another area also is research. So for example, if you work for an investment bank, this company is dealing with wanting to do a takeover, or maybe a company is about to be listed. There's a lot of research that is done. There's research also of how the markets are going. How is the stock market doing? How is the bond market doing? How is the economy doing? So research is also another key area in the securities market. Then we also have the back office. Any business will need some accountant somewhere, someone dealing with the accounts for sure. Also, another area that is picking up is operations, investment operations, and IT. Many investment firms have to come up with their platforms, have to come up with applications to be able to serve their clients better. So this is another area that is growing. The back office, when those trades are being done, when those transactions are being carried out, there's a lot to be done in operations. And of course, marketing and communication is also another area. How does that business market itself? How does it communicate when there's an issue? Things like PR and all that. And of course, the company also needs to have some HR and some learning and development where you focus on improving the skills of the employees. So in a nutshell, with the securities market, you can go to any of these areas. And I like what Marilyn was saying. You have to think through and say, yes, I'm interested in working in investments, but where? Where exactly am I interested in? Which aspect of the securities market? In this market, it's very important to have some professional qualifications. 10 years ago, the reason I'm so passionate about this, and I've been training for a long time in this sector, a few years ago, about in 2015, 2016, the CMA, the regulator in Kenya, and also the regulators in Rwanda, Uganda, and Tanzania, they came together and said that all the professionals that work in this sector, they need some standard program that we can say, whether you came in with your degree, whether you came with your MBA, whether you came with your CFA, whether you came with your CPAK as an accountant, there must be a program that, a professional program that all must do as a foundation. And so that's when the securities industry certification program was introduced about 10 years ago, and they partnered with a UK firm called CISI, Chartered Institute of Securities and Investments. And the program involves doing some 3 qualifications from CISI. One is a foundation level called International Introduction to Securities and Investments. You train for it and you sit an exam and you have to pass. The second level is the regulations of the Kenyan market. to understand what is CMA about, what are the regulations in this market, what does CMA expect of all the employees who work for companies they license. So just understanding the market better. Again, we train you on that, and you sit an exam and you have to pass. And then the good thing with CISI, it's a global organization. It is in over 90 countries. The qualifications are developed by practitioners for practitioners. So the qualifications are easy to apply in your job. So actually in Kenya, if you are working for a firm that is licensed by CMA, you will be asked, have you done the CISI course? If you haven't, you'll be given time to do it because it's a requirement. So it's a compliance thing. So that way they're able to say, despite all the qualifications that people have, at least these two people must have. And the good thing with the CISI, you can continue further and move to other levels, and they focus on only qualifications in the securities market. So their qualifications are from level 1 up to level 7. So why I'm also bringing it here is that, yes, I'm a fresh graduate. I want to go and work for an investment bank. I have my degree. You'll have to continue bettering yourself by getting these professional qualifications. And also the other reason is that the market keeps changing and moving so fast. And so even what you studied, these qualifications they offer with CISI, the material keeps changing every 2 years because you have to be up to date with what's happening globally. So it's important to have professional qualifications. So that is one that is a requirement by CMA. There are other qualifications. You all hear about CFA, Certified Financial Analyst, depending on where you want to focus. There's also a local qualification, ICIFA. It's called CIFA. It's a qualification developed by CASNEB and ICIFA. ICIFA stands for Institute of Certified Investment and Financial Analyst. And legally, if you're an investment advisor, you are required to do that course, another professional qualification. So professional development is very important in this sector. That degree you got is not enough. You have to continue. Even ourselves as trainers, myself as a trainer who was trained in this sector from almost 10 years now, I always do an exam every other time. I just sat an exam 2 months ago. Why? Because I need to be in touch with what's happening in the market and also to be able to train professionals. I cannot train what I don't know, what I haven't passed. So then we have also another thing when you're in this career, it's good to join a professional organization where you become a member. So when you do the CMA certification program, you then become a CISI member. And by being a member, you now get access to so many benefits from CISI. They have a wonderful learning portal. They have webinars. They have so much information that helps you learn more about the specific career that you're in. We also have ICIFA. You can be a member of ICIFA. It's a local institute for this sector. So you become a member. You can also be, maybe you're working for a fund manager firm. There's Fund Managers Association. There's Kenya Association of Stockbrokers and Investment Banks. There's Compliance Association of Kenya if you're on the compliance side. But basically, these professional organizations help you to know, to network with other people that you're in the same career in the same market. They provide professional codes of conduct. When you're a member of a professional organization, you're required to adhere to some code of conduct to be ethical and professional in how you carry out your job. And of course, most of them also have professional qualifications, like I've said. And through the networking and being a member, you also are able to see opportunities to advance in your career. And as a member of a professional organization, usually to maintain your membership, you have to do continuous professional development, which means you're forever learning. So you go for a seminar, you get an hour. So according, like for this sector, CMA requires all professionals, you do that course, you become a member of CISI, you must do 35 hours of professional development every year to maintain your membership. So you keep learning and keep growing, like Marilyn was talking about. So now with all that, I have trained on this program for many years since it started here in Kenya, in Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda. They're all doing the same course that I'm talking about, the CISI. And I discovered that those who join the companies, to work for the companies straight from campus. Of course, if you get a job, say with an investment bank, the first thing they'll tell you is if you don't have this qualification, you need to do the qualification. So I discovered that those who are very new to the market, they need additional information, additional knowledge to understand the market, the industry better. And so we designed a program called the ASILI program specifically for this market, so that you have a better understanding of this market, and it's so clear which career you want to, which area you want to focus in the securities market. So what the program entails is, one is that level 1 course that is a requirement, the International Introduction to Securities and Investments, the CISI course. Secondly, so we train you for that so that you'll finally sit exams and pass. And as you sit the exam, you automatically get a CISI student membership and get access to all the material they have on their website and the benefits that they have for their members. The third part of the program is mentorship. I've talked about so many angles, the investment bank, the fund manager, the custodian, all those people who have all gone through this professional qualification. So part of the program, when you join the program, will attach you to a mentor. And a mentor, this person is actually a professional who has worked in the sector has the experience and for a number of years, so that they can guide you in your specific area of interest. Then the other part of the program is soft skills development, which is very key. You need to learn more about leadership. You need to learn about communication. You need to learn about teamwork. You need to learn about ethics. So soft skills development will be part of the program. And then part of the program will also, we shall invite industry experts. So each week you'll be able to have a session with an investment banker. The following week, you have a session with a fund manager. The following week, you have a session with a regulator. So we'll go through all those different aspects of the market, and these people will be able to come and have talks with you. So by the end of the program, you'll have at least achieved one requirement, which is required for you to work in the sector. You'll have gained a lot of knowledge of the industry and been able to at least add value to that degree you got, and gives you an upper hand to join any of these companies that are licensed by CMA. So we are currently enrolling. People are enrolling for the program. The program will take 14 weeks. We want the classes to be a maximum of 25 because we want you to experience the one-on-one interaction with all the people that are going to take you through the different aspects of the program. And so I hope to hear more from you, and I'll hand it over back to Marilyn. I think because of time, we will now be able to take some questions.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Nina, for that very comprehensive presentation on careers in securities and investment. So I think with that, we open the floor for questions. If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand. We'll give you a chance to unmute and ask, or you could also use the chat. You can also use the chat box to ask any question. And I can see there's a link that has been shared in chat in the meantime. If you would be interested in the ASILI program offered by Nina Jean Consulting, you can also maybe add your contacts details there. If you are not sure, you can just put your contacts there and then Nina will be in touch to answer your questions. So any questions you might have?
Hi, hello.
Hello,
Hi.
should I call you Satu?
Yes, my
Okay.
name is Robert Sansato, and
Okay.
I want to thank you for this amazing webinar. And I think in one way or another, I have benefited from this because it is a very good webinar. So I want to ask you whether we will be able to access this footage any other time when we want to reflect on it.
Because we asked you to register for the webinar, so we will be sharing the recording with you, the recording of this webinar.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Okay, as you prepare to ask your questions, you can look at the link in the chat. Also, there are contacts shared of Career Bridge, our pages. You can follow us. We share a lot of free materials on career development. We have a LinkedIn channel. You can go there, listen to multiple resources or ideas on career development for free. And if you need more support, you could also sign up for coaching, for job search support services. Also visit careerbridgejobs.com. We have a job board with so many jobs, opportunities there. You could check and apply for any jobs that you are interested in. We do not charge any fee. It's just a free platform for applying jobs. We only charge at a point where you sign up for a coaching program with us. So just giving one more chance, I can see Caroline, I would like to know how much is the CC program apart from 5,000 for enrollment. Nina, over to you.
Okay, so the program is going to be for 14 weeks. The whole program will cost you 44,500 because of the training of the CISI program also and all the other additions. And then after when you pay the 5,000 enrollment fee, you also have the opportunity to pay your fees in installments. You don't have to pay. The 5,000 will be part of the 44,500. So you have the option to pay your fees in installments because the program is for 14 weeks. At the end, when we finish the training on the CISI program part, you will decide when you want to sit the exam. The exams are normally held at Computer Pride, Monday to Saturday morning, so any day of the week. So that will be another aspect where you will have to pay for the exam depending on there's a fee to pay. There's an exam fee to pay. The fee for that level is £127, which is already discounted by CISI. Otherwise, you'd be paying double that. But the beauty of it is that you can go through the training, go through the program, and then when you're ready to sit the exam, it's just a matter of us booking for you the exam and being able to sit after you have paid. So we have good options to pay slowly, but you commit by enrolling first, and then you tell us how you're going to be able to make the rest of the payment.
Yeah, thank you, Esther. I hope your question is answered. And in the chat, I can see there are a few people who wrote aspiring financial analysts, meaning people are looking out for growth. They introduced themselves and they put aspirations. That is very good. So Let me see, there's one more chat. Okay, Caroline said, thank you. So it means your question was answered. So if there is no more questions, it's already 4 minutes past time. I think we did very well. We tried to keep within the 1 hour, not always easy. We invite you to engage with us, look at Nina Jean Consulting pages, our Career Bridge. We will do more collaborations, and in future join our network so that you can keep gaining from the useful resources that we share with you. So thank you all for joining. Thank you, Nina, for the great insights, and wish you the very best in your career journey. Always remember it's a journey, and we say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. We all started somewhere, and we are still a work in progress. So wish you the very best and enjoy. Happy Labor Day tomorrow.
Maybe I can just add,
Okay.
I know I covered in a very short time, so also feel free to call me to discuss further, to understand the different programs available for you to join this market. And we also added that if you do join the ASILI program through this webinar, we'll give you a 10% discount on your fees. So we hope to hear from you, and all the best.